Hi there, dear Truth Warriors, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you again to all the new subscribers and to all of you who have shared the videos and joined the page on Facebook and continue to spread love and wisdom. I simply love reading all of your messages and all of your stories. Please keep them coming. I know I don't often reply, or it takes me a while to reply, but please know that I do appreciate everything that you share. So today, this is, I don't know, I've lost count of how many weeks we have been in lockdown, in self-quarantine. I know a lot of businesses here in the Netherlands have opened up again, and we're sort of moving into a new normal, really. And I must say that even though there has been, there's been a lot of distress and a lot of pain, a lot of anger and confusion globally. On the other side of that, there is a lot of peace, I have noticed, also within myself. And just speaking to so many people in the past couple of weeks, you come to the realization that this is really a time that you can choose how to spend it. And I realize that there is a lot of stress. There's a lot of stress involved. So many people have lost their homes, have lost their income, their jobs. It's a very distressing time. But at this point in time, there is not a huge change that we can make. It's a gradual change, but it's going to have a huge impact on how we spend the rest of our lives, what the state of the planet is going to be in, the state of our lives, the relationships we're having or not having. So this has been, especially for me, and I can imagine for so many of you as well, it has been a time of a lot of self-reflection, a lot of writing. I have my journal right here. I try and write in it every day. There's just so much wisdom and so much confusion and so much anger and so much pain and distress that I write down. And it's always so good to go back and read about how you were, and about who you're becoming and who you have become. That is why, to me, it is a priority in my daily life, is to write down my thoughts and feelings and reconnect with myself. And this, during this COVID-19 lockdown, this has given me more time to just self-reflect and reevaluate my relationships, my friendships, how I interact with people, what I'm offering, what I'm not offering, my blind spots. We all have blind spots, so this is such an important time. There is, again, I am so sorry for all the pain and confusion that so many of us are going through. And I can just say love and blessings, and sending a lot of love and blessings to all of you who are experiencing this from a totally different level, a very painful level. So the most important thing is the relationship with self. It is so important to understand yourself, to become friends with yourself, to build that very valuable relationship with self. Because if you don't have a relationship with yourself, it is, how can you expect others to have a loving, warm and compassionate relationship with you? And this is not to put blame. This is not about blaming anyone. This is about owning who you are, owning what you stand for in life, owning your core values, what you honor, what you dishonor about yourself. It's all about getting to know yourself from a very deep level, and also bringing your shadow side and your light side together, integrating those two. And there are very many things. I'm often asked the question, and this has been a question for the most part of my life, is who am I? And I can say now that who I thought I was very many years ago is not who I am. It was based, my view of myself was based on other people's opinions, on conforming to certain rules and regulations in society, on conforming to how others wanted me to be and how I needed to show up through others. And it's now, you know, and as they say, life begins at 40, and literally that was in my case. I'm now 40, what am I, 47? And I can say it started for me at 40, where I really got into some real conversation with myself, to find out who I was, what I liked, what I didn't like, how I wanted to show up. What is the legacy that I want to leave when I leave this planet? What is the legacy? All these are so important questions. And when we run around getting involved in everyone else's business and having an opinion on just about everything, we forget to become silent and get into conversation with ourselves, so that we are observing what's going on around us, but we are not absorbing that. So there are just a few pointers that I've written down here, and these are the pointers that I would like to share with you, because they have absolutely helped me in I would say in the last 10 years of really getting to know myself. As I just said, so many people have asked, how do I ground myself? I don't know who I am. And this is very true. When we have come out, especially of abusive relationships, we lose our identity. We don't know who we are anymore. We are confused, we're in pain, we're looking for external means of soothing ourselves, when really the way to heal yourself is doing the inner work, going inside. And everyone on this planet is capable of healing themselves. It is our birthright. We know in essence how to heal ourselves, but we get so caught up in the external circumstances that we lose touch, we lose total connection with ourselves. So again, there are a few points that I've written down, you know, that you can also get into for yourself, for your self-care, for building, for establishing that relationship with yourself, and also nurturing that relationship with yourself. One of them being journaling. I'm a huge fan. I've said it so many times, I'm just going to continue to say that. I'm a huge fan of journaling, getting my thoughts, my feelings onto paper, describing certain situations in my life, seeing how I have taken on the challenge, how I've come through that challenge. Because don't forget, you have always been with you. You have been with yourself through the difficult times, through the victorious times, through the very challenging times. You have always been there. So you need to give yourself credit for that. You have never left your side. Maybe on the inside you were disconnected, but you have always been with you. So it is very important to own that truth, and to be appreciative of yourself for bringing yourself to this very point in time. We keep looking back. You know, this is what happens when we don't feel grounded, when we don't know who we are, is that we spend so much time and we put so much focus on what has happened in the past, or we spend so much time on what is going to happen in the future, which means that we totally miss the present moment. And again, it is so important to your healing to not keep looking back. You can reflect sometimes, yes, but when you keep looking back in that rear view mirror, you cannot see where you're headed. And where you're headed has everything to do with your present moment. Where am I now? What am I feeling now? What am I going through? How can I deal with this challenge? What do I need? So journaling is very important. And for those of you who don't like to write, who don't like to journal, record yourself. Record video messages for yourself and play them back to yourself. Document your life in some way or other. And the real questions to ask: who am I? Who are you? If you don't know who you are, how do you expect others to know who you are? And this is about sitting, getting into that conversation. You can set the stage for this. This is what I often do, is that I'm up here. I love this office that I'm in, and usually in the evenings, or mostly very early in the morning, I will sit here, I will light some candles, I will put on some soft music and just become very quiet within myself. And when you become quiet, you can hear what your inner voice is telling you. So the question, who am I? Write it down. Who are you? I know that I'm a woman who wants to honor myself. I always honor myself in whatever situation I'm challenged with or presented with. And I never used to honor myself. I used to always go along with what everyone else was thinking and feeling and doing, instead of getting clarity on who am I as a woman. I am powerful. I honor my worth. I honor my thoughts. I honor my feelings. I have a deep regard for respecting myself and therefore respecting others. I believe in loyalty for the right people. When you are loyal to yourself, you can also be loyal to someone else who deserves it. I'm not talking about being loyal to people who abuse you. It's about being loyal to yourself, honoring your thoughts and feelings. And when you demonstrate that to yourself, when you know who you are, that's how you demonstrate to others how to treat you. Because this so often happens when we say, well, he or she treated me wrong and they did this and they did that. Yes, they did, but that is their responsibility. Your responsibility is to say, okay, this is what has been done to me. Now, how am I going to deal with what has been done to me? How am I going to deal with the impression that someone else has had on me? What am I going to take from that? What is the lesson in that? You know, so often the most beautiful lessons in life come wrapped in sandpaper. I know this is something that Lisa Nichols, life coach Lisa Nichols, always says, is that the best dreams or the best life lessons come wrapped in sandpaper. And this is absolutely true. You know, and we can choose to not touch the sandpaper, to not unwrap that gift because of fear of scraping our fingers or getting hurt and just not liking the feeling. But the most honorable thing you can do for yourself is to unwrap that lesson. And yes, you get scratched and you get hurt. But once that sandpaper has been removed, that's where the beautiful lesson is. So this is also part of getting to know yourself. Who are you? Very important question. And you know, sometimes you won't have the answer straight away. But the more silent you become and the more you listen to your feelings will tell you how you are doing in life. You know, in essence, who you truly are. So the fact that you think you may not know is because you are buried under all these layers of other people's opinions, of other people's trauma that has been put onto you, of the way people have treated you. Yourself is buried under that, and this is what you need to uncover by removing those layers piece by piece and just becoming so comfortable with who you are. So that would be, you know, for those of you who are still in lockdown, as very many of us are, take this as an assignment for this week. Write down who you are. What matters to you? That's the second step that has really helped me in my healing and in my growth and in becoming the woman that I am today and the woman that I will be in the future. It is all part of the package. And this is what is important to me. What is truly important to me? This is something that you need to get clarity on. What is your stuff and what is someone else's stuff? Because so often we get caught up in everyone else's craziness and in their stuff that we forget that we have blind spots, that we have shadow sides. And this is something that you need to be self-accepting of. What matters to you? What is important to you? So, talking about the shadow side and the light side, we all have shadow sides. We all have blind spots. We all have things that trigger us, and we have things that bring us joy. You know, and what triggers me is oh goodness, so many things trigger me. Oh, and I can't think of one at this point in time. What I do know, and that is the shadow side, also trigger, or part of a trigger, is that when someone has done me wrong, or at least I perceive it to be done wrong, is that I tend to place a lot of judgment on that. I'm getting better. I was very bad, you know, in earlier years, is that when someone had done something to me, I carried that around with me, and I would continue to judge, and I would be very resentful, and I was not a person who would easily forgive. And I'm still struggling with that. You know, that's still a huge thing for me, is that, no, it's not huge. That's not the truth. That is not the truth. Is that when I see it now, I'm aware of it. I'm aware of how I can hold resentment towards someone and sort of give them the side eye, or not really want to get into conversation with them, be a bit standoffish. And again, I was very bad a couple of years ago. It consumed my whole life, all the resentment. But now, you know, I'm aware of it, and I can laugh at it and say, you're doing it again, Petra, you're judging again, and you are not forgiving of that person. And it's a lifelong process. I mean, that is one part of my shadow side. And you know, when you can own that truth and bring it together with your light side, integrate that with your light side, is when you are in full acceptance of yourself. This is so important, because we cannot love ourselves fully when we are not in full acceptance of who we are. So it's not just about focusing on the positive, or having a positive outlook on life. Yes, that is very important, but it is also important to acknowledge that we have a dark side to us as well, the blind spot, and just own it. Own it. I mean, there's so many things that I've done in my life, and I'm sure there's so many things that you have done in your life that we are not proud of, that we have a lot of guilt over. And it's about owning this truth, because when you own that truth, when you bring that truth into the light, it cannot grow anymore. It loses its power, because shame and guilt and resentment thrive in the dark. If you don't talk about this, if you don't bring this up, then it will continue to thrive. So you need to take away the power that has over you and bring it into the light, which it diffuses the whole situation. So these are things, you know, we are human. We are human. We are spiritual beings having this human experience. And it's so important to acknowledge that as well, is that we are not perfect. We don't get every single thing right, and that's okay. But when you're aware of those blind spots, and when you're willing to look at them and work on them, whatever it is that you need to work on, you will know what that is. That is what you need to take on. That is the challenge you need to take on. Because when you take on that challenge, that is where the largest growth is. Then it's a catalyst for growth. It will just put you into a different mindset. It will allow you to release the shame and the guilt and the judgment that you hold on yourself. And also, when you are looking at your blind spots and your triggers, do not judge them. Because, you know, this is something that we do most times very unconsciously, is that we continuously judging ourselves. And it is not helpful. It is not helpful to judge yourself with such venom. So look at those blind spots, look at those triggers, look at the dark side of who you are, and don't judge it. Don't judge that. Look at it and accept it. And this is how you come into your own. This is how you establish a relationship with yourself. You know, for those of you who have children, we all have, I as a mother, I know this is very true for me, is that I have unconditional love for my daughter. It doesn't matter what she does, what she thinks, what she's saying, it's all unconditional love. So I do not judge her as much. Yes, I can get into a conflict with her, and we can have words about that, or we can have a little squabble about that, but there is no judgment. And this is so easy for us to do, for most parents to do towards our children. But what do we do to ourselves is continue to put heavy judgment on ourselves. So the way you would interact with your children from a place of love is how you need to interact with yourself as well. That is how you establish a healthy relationship with self. So how you treat yourself is very important, because the way, as I just said at the beginning of the video, the way you treat yourself is a demonstration to others how they need to treat you. If you treat yourself with a lot of judgment, with a lot of guilt, with a lot of shame, this is the way others are just going to mirror back to you what you were doing to yourself. And of course, when involved with narcissistic relationships, or involved with a narcissistic partner or parent or child, or whoever the abuser is in your life, it is not okay to stay in that situation. It is not okay to dishonor yourself and just say, well, I need to just take on that abuse because I don't want to be judgmental. No, 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 no. That has nothing to do with it. You need to care and love on yourself. And part of self-care is not tolerating abuse. So let's get clear on that. Because so often I hear, well, if I judge, that means that I am, I have to tolerate the abuser's behavior. This is not the truth. It is not okay to tolerate abuse. So you can judge that person, and then you can choose, or not judge, you can see who that person is. They are showing you who you are, or who they are, sorry. And you can choose to step back from that situation. You do not have to be a part of that abuse. A final point is honor your feelings and your thoughts without judgment. There's that word again. Honor your feelings and your thoughts. Your thoughts are there to tell you things, to help you to learn things. Your feelings are showing you in what place you are in life, what you're going through. These are very important parts of yourself, your thoughts and your feelings, because so often when we're trying to heal from abuse, we know cognitively that we have been abused. We know what we are going through. But it's not only about healing our minds, our thought process, it's also about honoring our feelings. How are we feeling? Just get in touch with those feelings. That is again how you establish and also nourish the relationship with self. So I hope that has helped some today. And please share your stories of self-healing here down below, and your stories of the relationship you have with yourself. Just re-evaluate that. Be critical. Look at how you are treating yourself. Look at how you are interacting with yourself. Is it empowering or is it degrading? And it's really about finding balance within yourself. You cannot just be all about the trauma you've been through and what happened in the past and what may or may not happen in the future. It's all about the present moment. So take care of yourselves, and keep sharing the videos, please, and please keep sending me the emails. I know oh goodness, I keep saying that I love reading your emails. I don't always have time to respond within a short period of time, but I promise that I will get back to you as soon as possible. So if you'd like to, you can join our closed support group on Facebook. I will put the link to that support group here down below. I also have a page on Facebook that is open to everyone. You can join and follow me there. It's Petra Van Dale, Life Coach, and you'll find me on there. So take care of yourselves and keep loving on yourselves, and speak to you all next time. Love and blessings to you.